Hey guys, welcome to Bastian Time. I'm your host Bastian. Let's get on to some Zelda news. First of all, we learned some interesting facts about the Wind Waker HD due to an Iwata Asks, and that's where the president of Nintendo sits down with the development team for any given game and sort of asks them a bunch of questions. And then you read the transcript. And so they did one for the Wind Waker HD, but really most of it was talking about the original development of the Wind Waker, but then they got into some interesting information about Wind Waker HD and some of the changes that were made. And what Mr. Aonuma says, is that some of those changes visually, graphically, that we've seen not since the original Wind Waker, but when they released those images back at the Nintendo Direct when they first announced Wind Waker HD, they showed us something that looks very different both from the original Wind Waker and something that actually looks very different from what we have now, because what we have now actually looks closer to the original Wind Waker. What they showed us was something that people were calling the claymation or plastic look, and apparently that was the direction they were going to go in for the HD version, but there was a lot of fan reaction to that saying, this isn't cel-shaded, this isn't Wind Waker. So then they heard all of that sort of outcry, and like at the 11th hour, scaled back, went for a direction that was much closer to the original Wind Waker. So fan reaction apparently does play some sort of aspect in their decisions. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I was perfectly fine with those Nintendo Direct images that they showed us. I wouldn't have minded if it was like a claymation-y look, but I'm perfectly happy with Wind Waker HD as it is as well. It is beautiful. But anyways, let's get on to the next story. One of the other things that they were talking about is the fact that the original Wind Waker was received to a lot of criticism. Now, truth be told, I was one of those people who was furious when they first showed off Wind Waker. Of course, at that point, they didn't have a name for it. They just called it Legend of Zelda GameCube or something like that. But, I mean, I was very excited with what I saw from the Space World trailer, which was, you know, Ocarina of Time 3D looking graphics. And then when they showed us the first trailer for Wind Waker, I was like, what the heck is this? I was not amused, first of all, that it was so different from the direction that they were moving in, but also I felt like if they were going to do a cel-shaded Zelda thing, why chibi style? They already had a cel-shaded style already invented, which they've been using basically since Adventure of Link and A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening official art all kind of had a very similar looking Link, and it was a cel-shaded style. He had a black outline around him and everything. Why not just do that? Of course, what I didn't know back then is they didn't have the technology power to do something like that. That's why they used the chibi style and why it was so simplified looking, because that's the power that they were working with. But I was not amused at all. But of course, I pre-ordered the game. I got it on the first day, started playing it. I was all about it, but then, like an hour into it, I was like, oh my gosh, these graphics are amazing, and I instantly fell in love with the game. So, in any case, they were talking about exactly that in that Iwata Asks, about the fact that for a lot of people, there was a lot of negative reaction when the game first released, but they feel like there is a Zelda cycle that happens. When they first announce a game, there's a lot of negativity from one group of people, and that eventually that dissipates. And I think that is true for the Wind Waker. That whole Toon Link thing was so strong, especially in North America. It definitely outweighed the, hey, this is okay kind of attitude. And then now, 10 years later, it's like most people are totally okay with Toon Link. So, I mean, there are still some people out there that still hate Toon Link with every ounce of their souls, but those are the few. That's the minority now. It used to be that was the majority. So they're right. There is kind of a cycle, I think. And it's interesting. I think that there was a lot of negative reaction for Skyward Sword. and that's eventually is on its trajectory to dissipating. Makes me wonder what they have in store for us next and who out there is going to hate that. So anyways, it's kind of interesting to hear that they're well aware of this bizarre cycle that happens with the Zelda graphics. We also learned some other interesting tidbits from that Iwata Asks, and that's the fact that while they were preparing for Wind Waker HD, those developers working on Wind Waker HD were playing the original Wind Waker using strategy guides. You would think that the developers of a game would know where everything is and wouldn't have to use strategy guides, but that is not the case. They definitely use strategy guides, and I can attest to this myself. I have created a third quest that's based on the original Legend of Zelda, and I played through it recently. It was a Let's Play here on this channel, and I couldn't remember where anything was because I designed that like 5 years ago. I couldn't remember where I put anything. Similarly, I've created a 16-bit style RPG called The Lore of Lorwyn, if you want to look it up. Somebody's doing a Let's Play of it right now, and so I've been skimming through their videos, and wow, I really don't remember much of where anything is. As I'm watching, I'm like, oh, I think he needs to go do this thing, and I'm completely wrong. So yeah, I can understand why they need to play with a strategy guide. You can't expect even the developer of their own games to remember absolutely everything. And then our final story comes from the fact that Mr. Aonuma was talking about the music in A Link Between Worlds and saying something that we all already noticed. That yes, it's the music from A Link to the Past, but done in an orchestral style, not necessarily with real instruments, but with synthesized instruments that they're trying to make sound as real as possible. I don't really know why that needs to be a thing. Like, why couldn't they have just used real instruments? Maybe it was quicker, faster, easier to use synthesized instruments. It sounds pretty real to me, so I'm not going to complain too much. It sounds great, actually. I cannot wait to play this game. It's 2 months away. It's going to be awesome. But anyways, that's it for this episode of Zelda News. See you guys tomorrow for our Let's Play Secret of Mana 2. Bye, guys.